I sure could use some sleep. Kleck was right. This is a marathon. I mean, he only gets 4 hours of sleep a day because he's too busy surveilling and gang stalking and setting up tactics for people, especially his subscribers. I only get 4 hours of sleep because I actually have a real job that is wasting my life doing, and then because people are such freaking liars and they sicken me to death, I have to bring it to the attention of the people that are watching, that are the ones that are surveilling for the right reasons. You just have both sides. You have the Kleck sides and you have the us sides. There's way more of us than the Klecks, the Kleckites. They're that group that's trying to take over with a small amount of people. Now, so far, all these events that I've seen on TV that have dominated the world news are fake. Every single one of them. They're just pre-planned, they're set up, they're staged, and they're crisis actors, and nobody actually died and got hurt. That's what I see. So, I guess the ultimate test is here in Philly. They already tried one with the shooting near the Temple Hospital. They tried to pull that one over on us, but I seen that one coming, obviously, because I was there. I was there to see behind the scenes. The main thing that did it for me is to show that for me to know that it's fake and set up and scripted, is I know for a fact that without any proof, I know people hate that, don't they? You gotta hate that. I know for a fact, but I don't have any proof. It's like, where do you get your information from, Robin? I talk to the Lord. Without any proof whatsoever, I know for a fact that the media, they read their scripts. Before they get to the scene, their script is already written. It's already been written. Kleck has proven that more and more with the events that are taking place. They have the event to take place. They've already scripted the event, where and when and what and how and why and everything. And then they pretend that they're getting new information. So as the guy's standing there with his script that he has pre-written for that day, Yuki Washington, the guy that got up, had his script written for that day a long time in advance. As he's standing there giving the first interview, before he gives the interview, 2 minutes beforehand, a cop car turns and skids into the emergency room. And as that cop car skids into the emergency room, he already knew who was in the car. 2 minutes after, he knew who was in the car. He explained this turning fast, getting down there, because it was a movie scene. It was literally a movie scene. So I know for a fact that these people, these robots, they were robots. They had no emotion. They didn't break any character. They were just laser focused Johnny. They do not go off script and explain something that just happened 2 minutes ago. You understand? They do not explain their own thoughts. They don't have the authority to talk about anything that they think in their head. That's what the script writers do. the script writers are the ones that write the scripts. Not everybody that gets up in front of the camera writes their own scripts. You have to be a professional at that, and you have to have done it for a while, and you have to have a authority, and you have to be like a Kleck and a Steve. They have their scripts already written from the person that's responsible for writing the scripts. Just like that guy that holds the camera, his job is to hold the camera and record and edit. The guy that's reading the script, woman, that's their job to stick with the script. So to explain that car that drove through 2 minutes beforehand, as he was getting to the microphone explaining the story, he knew who was in the cop car, and he knew that it was a family member that the cop was dropping off. Now, who gives that information as it's happening? You got to remember this scene that just happened. The shooting happened at 4:35. I was on the scene at 5:04, and right around 5:20-ish is when they gave that interview. So it just happened. Do you think the cops like, all right, hold on. Hello, NBC, ABC, yeah, tell them that I have Joe Schmo in the car with me, and we're going to be skidding around into the emergency room in about 10 minutes, okay? All right, click. That's what gave it away. For me to see it firsthand, sitting directly behind all the Meads, just directly behind everybody. And then for the guy to have a wounded head, but he did live. He got grazed in the head, and he did live. So that's just by circumstance that happened in Philadelphia, where Philadelphia's going to get a wounded head, but will live. Like, that's Bible prophecy. So you're telling me that the gunman it was like a random act of God. He didn't know. He was just shooting it. It's like God was like, it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a wounded head, but thank God I will live. So as of up to that point, and then expecting the next event to happen in Philly, the very next day, sniffing around, walking up Center City, asking the elite, where are you going to plan on having your next event right here in Philly? And then the 12th day, as I do my video, I'm running out of things to say, but I'm waiting for that event to happen and saying it is past due. It's just past due. Maybe it's going to happen. And then it happens the very next day, 13 days later on the 27th of August. And then 4 days later, 3 full days later, that's when Jonathan Kleck, he got that envelope in the PO box over in Texas. He got the letter on August 31st. It just happened to be $4.35 that the person spent to get it sent to him. And on that day, there happened to be a shooting that was referenced at the Home Depot. And but originally, a guy got pulled over for a warrant or something, but there was like shooting at Home Depot. And when Michael Spears and Jonathan Kleck, they went, the paint samples at Home Depot. They have like the Rapture red paint, the Rapture that's coming up. It's good, bloodshed red. That event happened on the 31st, and right as they had the meeting beforehand to meet at Home Depot at 4:35, just happened to show that number up there. It's like, oh, maybe you should look that number up. So that was confirmation. That was confirmation that the shooting was going to happen at the Home Depot, and we're going to meet up at Home Depot number 435, and it was going to cost $4.35 for the letter, the envelope, the 007 secret agent pamphlet to come in the mail, so they can all meet at 435 and go over the Home Depot shooting scene in Texas that happened where Kleck lives in Texas, and he's the angel of the Church of Philadelphia, and he's the falling star Lucifer that's going to destroy Philadelphia for in 1 hour, because he'll get up he's going to do his video tonight. It'll come out tomorrow morning, Saturday, because he wants to give everybody all of Saturday to get prepared to get ready for Sunday morning at 2:30 a.m. to start to see the angels going up and the fallen angels going down, and on the second floor up above your head where the holographic images are going to be prominent, we're going to see that too. Because as they're up on the left and up on the right, but as you're looking over there, it looks like it's to the left, but it's still flat, straight across. It's just your perception, just when your eye level dwindles down the further you go. That's why it looks like it's round. That's why the world looks like it's rounded. You can only see for so far, for so straight, and everything starts to go down. So Philadelphia. I'm not exactly sure about where he's going to be at 2:30 Sunday morning, but I know Philly is, it's been the target. They haven't, just like, they're not like, we'll just leave Philly alone. No, Philly is the place to make it happen. So he'll have that, his next video is going to come out. Let me see, I wonder what he's going to talk about. Probably destruction. That great city for in 1 hour has been destroyed, and the mark of the beast system rising up and being put into play. And then how he's going to explain how there's going to be 3.5 years of absolute, complete, total destruction, but he's going to be fine. Don't worry about, he doesn't want to put anybody in fear, because everything's going to be perfectly okay with, you know, the way things are. But the sheep, the sheep that didn't want to worship the images of the beast that are up in the sky, all of his images, all of Kleck's images, if we don't worship those images that are in the sky, the angels falling, the rapture, people floating up, the alien invasion, just the fire from heaven, if we don't bow down and worship those images as truth, because if you see it and you look at it like, oh man, you're done. You're done. You're dead. You're getting slaughtered. You're getting chopped the freaking head off because you don't believe them. Meanwhile, God's way, you know, the good energy of God is gives you the will to freely choose whatever you want. Like, you don't believe me? Fine. You know, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to believe me. You don't want to believe me? Whatever. But you don't believe me? Watch. Well, you're going to burn in a lake of fire. You're going to die. We're going to kill you. We're going to torture you. We're going to skin you alive. And we're going to drink your blood. And we're going to eat you alive, Robin. That's what we're going to do because you don't believe me. I told you I'm taking over the world. Why don't you believe me? Look, Plankton, I've seen enough freaking cartoons where you're just not believable. You know, Plankton, the one-eye Willie, he's always tried to take the Krabby Patty formula from Mr. Krabs. And Sponge Rab always ruined it for him. Because he's the plankton of the damn sea. He's trying to rise up from out of the sea like a beast. He only has one eye. He doesn't have the other one focused in. So 2:30 Sunday, it's definitely the rapture. I mean, they can't, I can see where, like, the intelligent agencies, that the people that are watching, the ones with good hearts, I don't know what it is that you can do about the rapture. I would say just let that be. Let the rapture happen. Let the sky show happen. Let the sky, this show, take place. But if they try to bomb something and destroy something, and there's people that are going to get injured and killed, and you know where it's going to happen, then shouldn't you just, like, make sure that, try to do the best job that you can to make sure it doesn't happen? Look, I don't care. At this point, I already know what I'm doing here on planet Earth. I know what my purpose is. And I understand that not everybody's going to know, but the ones that have been surveilling, good side and evil, both sides already know. My message is clear. To the people in the world that don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter. How can every single possible person in the world really understand the truth? So if nothing happens, I'll be fine with that, because it is so obvious that Kleck is the mastermind behind being the face of Stephen James DeShawn. That's who he is. He's the face of DeShawn as the above ground, YouTube world being seen out into the world. That's, you get the feed from the underground. That's like, and it goes up. Nobody's really supposed to know who Stephen James DeShawn is. I don't even know. I don't think this was even. I don't think you can even make it up. I don't think you can think this up. But I don't think that he thought he would be exposed as to who he is, and I don't think he would. And look, Steve, I know you can't wait till this is over, because I drain your ass. I am draining the swamp, for real. The swamp is being drained, because when I get up and continually pounce at all the liars and prove it and show it to the people that have ears to hear and eyes to see, they can. The other ones that can't, whatever, you're not supposed to until the end. So that swamp, the swamp of liars, is getting drained out of America, because America's first. But I know that you can't wait until it's over, because then you thought you were at rest. You're not at rest. You were flourishing in your palace before I showed up. Now it's a different story, but at least you understand that the Bible is actually real. You didn't beforehand. You studied the Bible for your entire life and didn't believe it. You were going to use it against us in these last days, at the end of time. But isn't it amazing how that Bible is actually true, and prophecies being fulfilled right in front of your face? That's pretty amazing. So that's the way God wrote the Bible. He knew what you guys were doing. He knew that you were going to try to put fear into people and not really be killing people. But look, we're going to see. I mean, this is a major thing getting ready to happen. This bank run on the 14th. It's like, what I've already thought of. All right, yeah, okay. The specific date, wasn't sure about the time. It was 8:48 a.m. I thought it was 8:19, but that was just the setup for the real one. That's all that was a setup to let you know when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen at. So it's going to happen at the Building 8, and it's going to happen 8:48 a.m. And it's looking like it's going to happen on Monday, Columbus Day, the 14th of October, which makes the most sense for them to do, which kind of gives me a little bit of hope and inkling that this final major absolute complete catastrophe destruction is still set up, controlled, like a controlled demolition or something, where, because there's not going to be too many people around, because it's Columbus Day. There's going to be nobody in the banks, which is good, because if it was an open day in the banks and they planned on bombing it, then, I mean, maybe they just need to rebuild the bank and they're trying to do, but they want to drop it first and put fear in people. It's like these builders, they already planned on remodeling, just wiping out certain buildings and redoing them because of the structure. And but in the meantime, they'll just put fear in people's hearts and make it look like a terrorist attack, when at any other time in any other city, when actual builders are going to implode building, it's set up. They make sure people are not around, and they implode it, and then nobody gets hurt. That is the only acceptable event that I can accept. Is they try to knock things down and there's nothing that I can do about it. I can only use my words, and whoever's hearing, whoever's listening, whoever has authority, whoever's in the top position, whoever can do something about it, do something about it. I can only tell you what I see happening by obviously picking apart Kleck's script. He's the one that's getting all his army ready. He's the one telling you all the confirmations that he has. The banks being closed on Monday is only another confirmation of it happening on Monday. Because before that, thinking it's the 14th, narrowing it down to that day, October 14th, and then afterwards realizing that it's Columbus Day makes more sense. Banks closed. All the banks are closed, and because they're going to stay closed. So from Saturday, Sunday, I would say anybody's living around here or whatever, get whatever you need for however long a period of time that you think you're going to need it for. I'm just telling you, this thing is a short. It's a short time period where there is a 21-day Daniel that's going to happen, and the 14th is perfect for them to try to play out to get it started, and then that would last, like the 24 days would last up until I think like November 4th, like 4/11 or 1/14, whatever however you want to play it backwards. Because there's a 7-day jump ahead where they're going to jump ahead 7 days before the actual when Michael stands up on the 21st of October, because that is the true 21 days from the 21st till 11/11, because it's 7 and of the 8th year since we were warned about this judgment of God's coming upon the earth and going into perdition. So as soon as we go into perdition, that's the timeline where Daniel eats no pleasant bread, because you know this shit's popping off. We're not going to be seeing anything pleasant. But I am surprised that we're up still on YouTube this late. So that means we're basically going all the way to the end. And then they shut us down for, well, there's a 3.5 day period, and then there's another 3.5 day period that's extended. But that doesn't mean that we have to be silenced for 3.5 days or 3.5 weeks. Remember, there's 2 witnesses that die in the middle of the street, and that's only for 3.5 days. And then after 3.5 days, which is 7 days, the breath of life enters back into them. But at the same time, there's still going to be no pleasant bread to eat. There's still going to be no pleasant bread. Because that's the thing I was tossing up in my head, like, yeah, but if we're silenced for 3.5 days, what about the 3 weeks? What about the 21-day period? Daniel's eating no pleasant bread, which represents no truth. Like I always looked at as YouTube, no truth on YouTube shut down. But being killed for 3.5 days and then rising back up at 3.5 days, well, that's only a period of 7 days. That leaves another 2 weeks after being destroyed. You know, so come the 17th of October, being killed in the streets, or the 16th, because Kleck's showing me in prison, and he's talking about the trees dropping on the 15th of October, and the sheep being destroyed and rounded up and rapture red and being skinned alive and that kind of shit. But he's showing that on the 15th. But then he has me in prison with the 16 TK on the thing there, so it just makes me think it's like the 16th day. Maybe it's the 16th all the way the full 16th, and then you start counting from the 17th to the 18th is one full day, and then to the 19th, and then to the 20th, and then half of that day, 20th, 20 and a half is 3.5 days, which is the 20th of October, and it's the 21st, and that's when Kleck told you about Revelation 10, Revelation 21, Revelation 3 says, I seen the New Jerusalem ascending down to heaven, adorned for me and Michael. And that's the 20th, and then go into the 21st, the 22nd, and the 23rd, and then the 24th, the full days. That would be the next 3.5 days, because after 3.5 days, once the 24th comes around, once the real sun rises back up, once the open sky treaty is signed, and it opens up, and this stuff is gone, that second heaven is gone, Kleck is gone from his power. He's still going to be alive for a season at a time, but there's those three beasts are going to take it, their three kings. I forget, I don't know my scripture very well, but what I do know and what I do understand is you guys are going down. This whole plan's going down. The best part about it is when this does happen, I get to look back. You guys get to look back. Everybody gets to look back on the things that were said, and then the things that did happen. And every time I'll tell you, I have no proof at all. I don't have a sign. God has not given me anything to go by. I'm just going by pure speculation. Pure, 100% unadulterated faith in God, my Creator, that He's led me in this direction. Kleck is copying everything about me. So everything he says about getting 4 hours of sleep, it's what I get. Going to court and proving things, people trying to take you down, it's what I've been through. People trying to sabotage my work, it's what I did. I got the person fired. It all worked out. I'm doing the same thing now. This now I understand it was total preparation to get me here to take down Jonathan Kleck. I didn't know it until about a month ago, maybe two. I mean, with every single day, knowledge increases, so I'm realizing more and more and how obvious he is. See, here's the thing that makes me believe that he's a true murderer, and he really does want to skin us alive. Because he's subliminally saying things that you're not supposed to know. He's supposed to tell you 100% the truth by lying. So when he lies to you about the things that he's doing, it's only because he's trying to come clean by lying to you. His way of telling you the truth is still maneuvering around and being able to lie to you, but still say the words in a sentence to tell you the truth, but add a few more to kind of confuse you. So the way he's saying things, I can tell that he thinks that nobody can figure out what he's saying except for you guys, the ones that are in on it. Nobody is supposed to figure out his subliminal tactics. The more he talks, it's just about like he's literally giving me the exact time, date, everything. Just within the past few days, 2 days, I've come to the absolute, concrete, complete, evident proof that, without any evidence, of course, without any proof, and I got no backing, got no promises, that he is responsible for the angels and the demons and the holographic images of the angels that are going to be floating up in the sky and descending, and the alien invasion, and the waterfall of the tsunamis and everything. He has all of it. He's showing you these famous pictures. This famous picture. It's me. Hey, me. I mean, it's like, I know that for a fact, without any proof or evidence, that he's the one that drew the drawing of the Obama portrait. And when anybody sticks up for him and says that it's not him, you work for him. It's just obvious that you work for him, but you won't tell the truth until you are forced to tell the truth, because there won't be any avenue to lie. Like, you won't be able to lie anymore. So Kleck is going down. He doesn't think so. He doesn't think so because he's been promised. He has a high-ass position in the world, just like Stephen James does. But I see, because see, James was assigned to me, or he found me out, or however that works, he found me out. Since he's been watching me for the past couple years, and I'm representing Christ, I'm representing the teachings of Christ. He's representing the teachings of evil. But now he's representing both. Kleck, I don't see him as being good-hearted whatsoever. He is telling you his heart is evil continually only. I can see the good side of Stephen James. I just can. And he knows that too. So does Justin. So does a few other people. Barb, you can see that in him. You can see the good side in him. But his heart changed over the past couple years by watching me. And that's a fact. He'll tell you when the time comes where he needs to tell you the truth. I just know that these things are facts beforehand, because it's like human nature. To understand how people think, it's not that complicated. Body language, everything, it's pretty simple to grasp now, but I would have never known this stuff if I never hopped on YouTube. If I was never disgusted to death about all the liars, disgusting liars, I would have never hopped on YouTube and figured out the ins and outs and peel apart their frickin' script and unroll the scroll, all 7 seals, just peel them all up and expose it all here. So when it happens here in Philly, this is the biggest test. They're already doing power outages in California. They're just getting you prepared. Certain areas, there's going to be no power because it's going to be such a lie with the miracles, signs, and wonders in the heavens that they're going to do to deceive men that dwell upon the earth, to worship the image of the beast, worship and all these images that the beast is putting up there that he was given power to do by the dragon, Deshaun, down there at the underground. But it all comes to an end because it ain't real.